There's these natural springs, these little palm oases scattered around Southern California. So around those you can get stuff. You also have like summer storms and washes where you get lots of water pouring through these really sandy washes, burying like little branches, wood underneath there, and then retaining enough moisture long enough to get stuff like this to fruit. So these are wind dispersed spores. So it's kind of like this big long stalk coming from this little vulva, this bulb, growing up, and then the spores start, the cap just dries out and the spores mature and the wind blows them around. Or this thing, this podaxis, which looks like a shaggy mane that never opens up. So there are a bunch of these, probably about 20 or so desert species in Southern California. They're really difficult to find, and generally you see one here, one there. These are collections that the Los Angeles Club has acquired over the years, and every single year at the fair they bring them out and have a little desert fungus display. Okay, so what's currently happening? This is something that I hear again and again and again. Not always voiced like that, but sometimes. There's a lot of name changes. Probably for those of you who are using David Aurora's Mushrooms Demystify, which came out in 1986, about 250 of the 737 names in that book have changed. And there's the primary reasons is much more is known about the California mushrooms now than were known back then. There's been work done on them, but there's still a lot of work to do. Most European and North American names applied to Western North American species should not be. The species here really are distinct, and not only that, there's if you get into the Sierra Mixed Conifer zone and then compare it to the coast, there's only about maybe 20% overlap in species which occur in both areas. So every region has its unique fungi, yet we put names, applied names from other places to the ones here. There's a lot of species complexes, which means there's more than one species going by that name. So morels in North America, we've had about 23 new names for, because there's a lot of different species of morels. So these species complexes have led to a lot of new species. And so here's what we used to know as the black elephant saddle, Habella lacanosa. So this is within California, a species known so far. So Elsa and you who are here earlier described these two species from the California coast, but now we have these two species from the California mountains which don't match these. And you can see slight differences to them when you compare them side by side, but forever we just saw this black elephant saddle and called it Habella lacanosa. So that's one reason for these new names, just looking closer at the species we have. Or another thing is just looking closer at the mushrooms we have. So this is a group, Pseudobeospora. I'm sure none of you in the room have heard of this. It's this little teeny mushroom, usually about a centimeter across or smaller. This one was described in California in 2006. It was the first species of Pseudobeospora described in California. This one was described in 2009 from a collection brought into a BioBlitz at Point Reyes. And then this one, Christian Schwartz described this in 2011 from a collection on the University of Santa Cruz campus. So here, before 2006, we did not know Pseudobeospora occurring in California, and then in 5 years got 3 new species. Well, in the past 5 years of doing field work for the book, we're up to 14 different species of Pseudobeospora in California. And only 3 of them have names. So it means 11 new species that are soon to be described, and I don't have, I'm missing one because it's more recent than this slide, because I found another new one this year. And not only that, I'm finding, these things, we're finding records from all over the state, and before, this thing was known from one location. But it's a lot more widespread than that. So mushrooming, it's a lot more complex than we give it credit for, but if you're just after your boletes, it's a start. So, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.